Well, guys, it's finally happening and it's been a while, but Rolex watches are actually available to buy again. On the spot, from the Authorized Dealer, you can walk out of the shop with one. Well, at least here you can. In Bristol, in the UK, it might not be the same where you live, but I hope it is. So, I learned this last weekend when we went to the AD. I was there to do my usual thing, make sure they know I really want a celebration OP.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
And we saw these in the window for sale, so I'll put the video up right now. I got so excited I had to video it. But they had lots of Rolex Datejusts, a two-tone Explorer, and 4 precious metal Sky Dwellers available to buy, right then and there. Now, I have to say, it's not all models. The super desirable, hard-to-get pieces like the Rolex Submariner, Daytona, well, pretty much all stainless steel professional models aren't sat in the window waiting. But for the first time, in a long time, there are models you can actually buy again. And I really think this is the start of things returning to the way they were before the pandemic. I think this is a turning point, and that is freaking great news for watch collectors, lovers, and horrible news for flippers. Now, if you're a bit newer to watchers, you might be thinking, what does that mean? Could you not buy Rolex watches before? What is a flipper? First question, the answer is no. And second question, flippers are just the worst. So, in the ancient times of pre-COVID, pre-pandemic, certain Rolex models were harder to buy. Specific Submariners, Daytonas, GMT Master 2s, stainless steel Sky Dwellers, particularly the blue dial. These were often waiting list items. The longest wait we were ever quoted, pre-watch market bubble, was 2 years for the green dial Submariner 116610LV. And I remember thinking that was outrageous. How naive I was. But there were still watches you could buy from the AD upon walking in. For example, I was able to buy my Oyster Perpetual same day. But then, as we all know and lived through, the pandemic happened, and everything just went insane in the watch world during 2020 and 2021. Economist Simon Kuznets once said there are 4 types of economies in the world. 1, underdeveloped economies. 2, advanced economies. 3, Argentina. And 4, Japan, which is almost always true, but we experienced a new kind of economy in those years, the COVID-19 economy. Many people were stuck inside, holidays canceled, and the usual things we spend our money on just weren't available anymore. Vacations, restaurants, and after-work drinks, fancy lattes, and so many people had more disposable income than ever before. Now, I should clarify, a lot of people were affected by the pandemic in different ways. For some people, it led to all-time financial hardship, and for many others, who were able to work from home especially, you had a lot more disposable cash, namely because their wages remained the same, and there wasn't a lot to do. This, combined with everybody feeling a little bit sad because there was nothing to look forward to for the foreseeable future, led people to spending their money on those little luxuries they just couldn't justify before.
3 words for you. Treat yourself.
Things like watches.
What do we treat ourselves to?
Clothes.
Treat yourself.
Fragrances.
Treat yourself.
Massages.
Treat yourself.
With manufacturers unable to produce as many watches due to COVID restrictions combined with supply chain issues, and people wanting to buy more than ever before, led to a massive shortage of timepieces, and the most insane secondary market bubble probably in the history of wristwatches. Now, my next Sunday video is a real deep dive into the state of hype watches and super collectible watches now versus their all-time high, so I won't go too deep into it right now, but certain coveted pieces were going 3 times, 4 times, 5 times their retail price, and people were just kind of getting used to hearing no from the Authorized Dealer. For example, the new expected wait time on the stainless steel Rolex Daytona became 10 years. 10 years. And it just felt bad, and it left a really bad taste in a lot of enthusiasts' mouths. Moving on to flippers. With this mass shortage of wristwatches, the flippers entered the party. This is really one of my least favorite things. Now, there have always been flippers, but the margins just weren't what they became during 2020 and 2021. People began talking about watches like they were a part of their investment portfolio, and there was more and more money to be made in flipping watches. People were getting their names down for specific watches, and as soon as they got them, they would immediately flip them on the secondary market to make a profit. So these unobtainable watches seemed to only be available on the secondary market at a huge markup. Even my friends who weren't really into watches or somewhat dabbled into watches heard about these huge markups, this huge gold rush, and wanted to get in on it. 2020, 2021 were just bad times for genuine watch lovers and watch enthusiasts. But it seems like this time is finally ending. We are finally starting to see Rolex watches for sale in authorized dealer windows, and this is freaking awesome news. I know, for now, the available watches are the kind of less desirable, more expensive two-tone and precious metal models, but I find precious metal is always the canary in the coal mine. It's always an indicator on where things are going. I don't think we will ever see a stainless steel white dial Daytona sat in the window or a green bezel Submariner, but I really think in the near future we're going to start seeing stainless steel Datejusts, Oyster Perpetuals, even Explorers and Explorer 2s in the window available to buy again, or with a short 6-month waiting list. I really think this is the start of everything going back to the way it was in 2019. If there's a certain watch you're after, go to the AD, give them a little nudge, make sure they know that you're still interested. Keep your powder dry. This is a turning point. If you're after a two-tone Datejust, a two-tone Explorer, a precious metal Skydweller, if you're in the UK, pop by Goldsmiths in Bristol. And if you're not in the UK or not really nearby, go to the AD. There might be more in there than you think there is. Anyways, I was just so excited to share this news with you guys. Just a short one from me today. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and let's thank the gorgeous, fabulous, wonderful Pope tier patrons. Ooh, 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 it's the patron song. Some of you didn't like my interpretive dance. I'm sorry for that. Ooh, 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 the singing feels worse. But I love you, Pope tier patrons, all tier patrons, but namely the names on the screen. But all of you, everyone is a patron.